Hi everyone, welcome. Today we're going to be learning about something really interesting and important. We are going to be learning about Next.js. So when I say Next.js, we're going to be learning how to create a to-do list. And what this is going to do is that it's going to help you understand state management. It's going to help you understand um, form creation, creating a form using Next.js React. It's going to help you understand CRUD requests, right? So create, read, operate, delete. It's going to help you master how to actually build a whole feature from the ground up. And I hope this helps you. I hope this is beneficial to you. And yeah, let's get started with it. So, if you can see my screen, just say hi. Hi. So today we're going to be creating a to-do list. So right now I have a simple Next.js application. So we're going to be focusing on the to-do section. Hold on 1 minute. We're going to be focusing on the to-do section. This is a live stream, so I encourage you to tell your friends, share to everybody that you know that we are working on this. Say we are working on this. Okay. So 1 minute please. I just want to make sure that our environment is ready before we get into it. Okay. So our to-do list is saying, please work on me. Please work on me. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started on this. We're going to get started. Okay. So let's focus on what's priority. Right now, what we first need to do is we need to first and foremost understand what we have on ground. So right now we have a to-do page that's saying, please work on me, Mo. And your to-do list may be saying that too, that please work on me. And so we're going to get started by first of all understanding what we need to do to build a form. Right, understanding what we need to do to build a form. So the first thing we need to do is we're creating a form that adds to a to-do list. So in that form, we need to get the UI. So let's start by working on the UI first of all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div class. And the reason for this is when I'm working with multiple lines, I want to ensure that there's a div that serves like as a container to bring everything together. And so I'm going to add a class name to this. And so for the styling, I'm going to use Flexbox. So Flexbox is a let me see if I can show you. So I learned about Flexbox a few years ago, and it's a flexible box layout for styling. Basically, one really good article about it is this CSS Flexbox layout guide. Like it really helped me in 2021 when I was learning. I know it will help you too if you just go through it and read through everything. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create a style, a form. And so what this form is going to have is going to be a flex box. Now I'm using flex column. So I want it to be a column, right? And this is a row, this is a column. So I want it to be a column. Yeah, I want it to be a column. So now we're going to create an inner div. And so what that div is going to contain is going to contain a it's going to be a row, right? So let's say this is called flex. Oh, sorry. I'm using inline styling. I'm going to use class name. So in React, to call it class name. In normal JavaScript, to call it class. So this is going to be a row. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have different labels for everything, right? So I'm creating a form. I'm creating a form. The first thing to actually, I want to have another div, and this is just going to be a h1 tag. If you know what h1 is, you can put in the tag in the chat, which is going to say to-do list. So we're creating a grid with a title, whether when I say title, let's say a task instead of a title, a task, whether this task has been completed or not, who is the contact that is assigned to this task, and etc. So we're going to create, first of all, I have my h1 tag, which is called do. We check the page, it has already changed over here. And then what I'm going to do now is inside this my div tag, I'm going to have a label because I'm creating um several forms, several representation of things. And what this label is going to, the label is going to have a class name, and the class name is going to be a grid layout, like I said. So it's going to take like 20, and then it's going to be called, instead of title, we're going to call it task name. Okay, we're going to call it task name, and the inputs is going to be an input because this is a form actually. This is a form. Do I want this to be a form, or do I want this to be the display? For now, I'm going to show it like a form for you so that you can be able to see it. And then we're going to talk about creating several things. So we're going to have an input file. And in the input file, we're going to have the name. The name is going to be called task, right? We're going to have our class name, and it's going to be a full width. We're also going to have our value, and the value is also going to be task. I'm going to use autocomplete there. Then we're going to have unchange. So now you're going to learn about something here, and I want you to pay attention. So you're going to learn about event handling. You're going to learn about event handling. You're going to learn about event handling. 1 minute, please, my viewers. Just 1 quick minute. One really quick minute. So we're going to learn about event handling. And so event handling, we're going to learn how to manage state, how to event handle. But before that, I actually don't want to do this yet because I want to teach that as a separate section. So right now we have a class name here. The class name is for, we have a label here, a div, a container, and this is for the tags input. Now we're going to have other inputs. So I'm just going to replicate this 4 times. And so for another input is going to be completed, right? We want to see if this task has been completed or not. So this is going to be called completed, and it's going to be the input type is going to be checkbox. And I'm going to link down several resources that you can use. So we're going to check the name is going to be completed. The class name, let's say that we're not going to make it full width. Let's say that we just want to make the width 5 and the height 5. Then we're going to need an unchanged, but for now we're not going to do that. we're going to leave this value. I'm going to leave this value for now. And you'll see why I did that. Then we also need another one for we need a drop down, right? And what that drop down is going to do is that it's going to assign to a contact. But for now, let's just call this assign to contact. So this is just a form. And so what this is going to take in is going to okay, yes. The name is going to be, let's call it contact. I want to make that a small letter. And value is going to be a contact too. Then we also want a situation where we need one more thing. Yeah, for now we don't need one more thing. The last thing we're going to have a button, right? And so we're going to have a button. And so that button is just going to be our save button. So this is just like a simple form. There's a runtime error. Tags is not defined. Okay. I need to define the tags values here. So I'm going to teach you about state management now. So what we're going to do, I may be going a bit fast. If I'm too fast, you can put your questions in the comment section. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you step by step how I would go about creating this. But then again, I don't want to go too fast. And actually, that error is because of name tags value tags inputs. Okay. Let's talk about state management. So I'm going to create a state, and what that state is going to do is going to be called task, and we're going to be able to set our task. And you see something is going to error out right now. Something is going to error out right now because we need to import use states for this to work. So this is going to be equal to use states, and we want to initialize this to an empty string. I'm surprised that it hasn't errored out yet. It probably error out when I get to the page itself. So we're going to be doing the same thing for contacts. We're going to be doing the same thing for completed, right? But for completed, it's not going to be a string. Completed is a Boolean value. So a Boolean value can be either true or false. So let's look at this over here. And so we see the form happening right now. So we see that there's a tags name, a toggle for completed, a fuller box, and then a button to save. Now this button, the styling is a bit wacky. So let's see if we can add some styling. Oh no, I want to add some styling. Will the CSS populate for me, or do I have to populate everything by myself? That's another thing too. Let's see, do I have any pre-styling that I've done before? Okay, let's make this a gray button. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have a save button. Let's add more here. Instead of basis 40, let's try this. Let's see. So we have our tax name, we have our completed value assigned to. Let's also make this 40. Oops. Let's make this 40. Let's make completed 40. Let's make all this 40. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want I just want it to look more organized, right? Let's make this a bit bolder and larger. Um okay, awesome. I want to add like padding. Let's see. Okay, we added padding and everything. So this is just a simple form to create a to-do list, but we're actually going to merge it with another code. But this is just a simple form for now. So if you are wondering how to create forms, here's the code for it. You can also look into forms HTML. You can use this resource. It's very, very helpful. It talks about different things. And let's look at the Next.js docs if you have anything. Next.js. Um, so this talks about the form components. So everything is actually built on top of each other. So I would encourage you go into this first of all. Learn about the different input types. For example, you can have a radio button instead of a checkbox. You can have a checkbox type. You can have a submit. An input type can be a button, a clickable button that writes to the form. So this just talks about the form, the different form creation mechanisms. Okay, are we still following? If we are, say I'm following. You can say I'm following. You can say I'm following. Just me making to see who is following. And we will continue. Hope you're enjoying this session. Okay, so now we're going to look into other things. So I remember I told you about this use state, use effect, use hook. Now this we're going to be using Prisma to connect our database. So I want a situation where um I can actually utilize this code to do things, right? I can go to pages, I can do several things, I can associate a contact with a to do list, several things like that. And so, what I'm going to do, I want this to work. So, I'm going to create um, 1 minute trying to connect my thoughts. So, I'm going to create a data field, right? I'm using Prisma. You know what? Let's switch this up a bit. So instead of me having this inside here, I'm going to put this code in here. And what I'm going to do, instead of to do page, I'm going to call this add to do this. And then this is going to come over here. This is what I'm going to be exporting. And then instead of me showing this here, I'm just going to import it over here. So I'm going to have one parent div that shows add to do list. And I need to import that too. Okay. Let me add my states. Can't have that already. imported that. Okay, so we're gonna create that, and we want to also add a router to be able to route easily. So I'm gonna add a router over here, but I want to get into routing right now. Don't worry, we're gonna continue on this. So note how, let's see. Gosh. Let's do this. Oh, okay. I see why that's happening. Let's see, mama. I'm wondering why I'm not seeing it. Tourists. I want to pause the stream for now. 1 minute as I look for more details. Let's see. You know what? Let me be completely honest and just show you what's going on. So I'm wondering why my to-do list is not showing. So I'm gonna ask CRUD. So over in this chat box, I'm just gonna type, why is my to-do list not showing? It's because of a naming issue. So this is actually meant to be a to-do list. But if I do it like that, I have to also change it in the parent file. When I say parent file, it's like a parent-child relationship because this is the parent component, and I need to update it in the export too. There's a parent component and there's a child component because this is what's using it. So let's look at it now. Okay, our to-do list is not defined. Why do I still have a to-do list? Oh, where? This may be because of what I did previously. Is there any add to-do list here? Match the case. There's none, so I'm thinking I just need to restart this. Okay. Let's check it out now. You know what? Let's cancel. Let's let's see. Localhost 3000. Okay. Okay. So it's reflecting right now. Yeah, it's reflecting right now. So let's focus on our to do. So this create to-do list is reflecting right now, and I want the to-do list that we actually create to be reflected in that same page. So I'm just working on front end right now, then I'm going to get into CRUD soon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new component, and that component is going to be for my to-do list. So what it's going to do is it's just going to help show the list for me, the list that I'm working with for me. Although I prefer if all my to-do code is in here, just so it can be easy to understand. Just so it can be easy to understand. So I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm gonna call it to do dot to do. That's not necessary actually. So I just want a situation where as I'm creating this, it's showing underneath so that we can understand what we're doing. So let's just say this is inside a div. Let's put this in a div. And let's put another div. So let's create another div over here. And so what this div, the reason why it's erroring out is because when you are working with multiple lines, you need to have a parent div, that a parent container that basically organizes the whole thing for you. So now you notice that it stopped erroring out. Let me format this properly. So I can just click on format selection and it formats it excellently well for me. So I have a form to add my to-do list. What do I want right now? I want a situation where every time I add my to-do list, it reflects, right? We can see it in a tabular format. So what am I going to do about that? I am going to show you how I would add this in a tabular format. So I'm going to create a table. Okay, I'm going to create a table. And so what that table, and the table is going to be full width. And the table is going to be full width. So let's say class name. I'm using Tailwind, by the way. So you can clock it. I'm just joking. So we're going to have our thread. And sometimes if you don't know what something means, you can just hover over it and it'll tell you. So a thread is a table section element placeholder. Okay. Let's look at what a thread is. Sometimes the explanations are not so helpful. Sometimes it is. We'll ask. Don't worry about it. We'll ask soon. So I want to create a role, and I create a role by doing tr. And within that row, I want to have 3 columns. So it's going to be a th, and it's already auto completing it. So we can just auto complete that. Now let me ask what this is. Open chat. What does this thread do? Let's use ChatGPT low reasoning because it's not like a big deal. Oh, it's actually not meant to be thread. It's meant to be table head. So this is going to be the headers. See, that's why it's good to Google things. So it's going to be table head. And we're also going to have the same here too, table head. And so that's a table head. Okay. Now, then we also need to create the body. And so for the body, I'm going to come down over here. And I'm going to say T-body. And what I want to do, I want to map everything that I get in my to-do list. So I have to-do data. I need to import that. I'm going to show you. If it's errors out, I'm going to stop. So I have my to-do data, and I pass each data as a to-do. So this is a higher order function. And then what I do is for each row, I display that. And so the key is going to be the to-do ID. I'm going to get into the data section on Prisma soon. So okay, live coding everyone. So we have our to-do map. We have built during a higher order function. So I passed in to do. So for each list, for each element in to do, we have a to do. And so that to do puts in the ID. Let's close this row. And then we also have our to do tax, to do completed, to do contact. If it's completed, I want it to show is there like a tick box in here? No. I want it to show yes or no, if it's completed or not. I want the contact to show. Then I also, do we want the ability to edit it? Yes, but that can come after we're done. What is already not? Expect corresponding JSX on the type for table. What is going on? So I have this. TDD, 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 TDD. So I have my T-body. This closes on here. This should close on here. And also on this. Oh, so much code. That's the thing about this thing, like parenthesis is like parenthesis and okay, let's see. So we have a tr table row. We need a closing tr over here. But over at this, let's take this out first. Close this right here. Then I want this to close over here. But then again, after this closes out, can I just use quick fix? I can fix anything. It's not so helpful. I'm missing a parenthesis somewhere. Let's just ask AI to help us fix it. Oh, it's because I've not declared it, but why was the error message so not specific? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Well, my viewers over here, notice how it was taking me through circles. It didn't like give me the exact error, but let's let that go for now. Let's look at over here. So right now, created our form. We should see a table. This is not defined. It's not an error in here. That's even the worst part. If it was erroring here, it would be nice, but it's not erroring right now. But anyhow, let's continue. So I'm going to create several CRUD operations right now so that we can plug in to do. So over in our index.js file, so let's close our pages for now, close the API, and let's open up Prisma. And so for Prisma, inside our schema, I want to make it that we add a scheme for to do. So I'm going to create a model for to do. So this is going to say to do, and there's going to be an ID which is going to auto increment and have a default value. Going to auto increment. Then I want a title for my string. I want it. Actually, no. I want a task, and that's going to be a string value. I want a completed, and I want a contact. And a contact is related by the ID, or can I just select a contact? I think I just want to select a contact. I don't need a contact ID. So I'm going to select a contact, and this is going to be our to-do model. I need to run Prisma migrate. So I'm going to create that in a separate file. Do I really not have Prisma migrate? Okay, what's wrong then? Validation error. Contact. I need to add the contact ID, which is an integer. Okay, I also need to add. So there's a relationship between contact and a to-do list. So I need to add a to-do. I need to add a to-do. Then I'm gonna run this again. Validation error. Why did this change from auto increments? Like, means if you're doing work, do it completely. But let's see. Um, let's see. Okay. This is because of some data issues. But yes, I want to reset it and just get everything done from scratch. Okay. I hope you can see my screen very well. But let's continue. So right now I'm migrated by data. So I do have a to-do list schema, right? So now what I do want to do is I want to create my CRUD requests that I need, right? And so inside my API, I have my contact, but I want to create one for my to-dos. So I have an example of how I did it before, but I'm just gonna show you. Let's create a new folder. Create to do, and then let's create a file for index.ts, and let's create another file for id.ts. Let's rename this because I want it to be the actual ID. Okay, so we are going to get into it. So I want to create a get request and I want to create a post request. So I'm going to import Prisma. And I'm also going to import Next API requests. And response to. Okay. So everyone, for today we're gonna pause because it's super early where I am. Right? It's like 4 a.m. So we're gonna pause for today. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna re-upload this video in smaller bits to ensure that like you get the full gist. But thank you for joining. Bye.